Hey everybody, we are back inside the trade show floor at Imaging USA, and we've stumbled across John Hartman. And John, why don't you tell us a little bit about like where you're from, your business? I mean, you've been in photography for a very long time, been an educator, been a good friend to a lot of people. Tell us like what you're doing now and where you're going.
Okay, well, thanks, Matt. I think next year, I'm going to be in business for 50 years. So I started when I was 2. That's the only way that works out. But it's still fun. And people ask me when I'm going to retire, and I kind of say, people retire to do what I do. So it's still fun. We still find challenges, and it makes it a great place great profession to be in.
Yeah. And the really cool thing that I admire about you is you have evolved over your time in photography. I can remember going to one of your boot camps in Las Vegas, seems like about 150 years ago, but you've been an educator and you change and you adapt, which kind of brings me to my next subject. And we have this gorgeous image behind us on the wall. Tell us about the technique, your light painting, and how you create those images.
Well, about 10 years ago, I went to study with Harold Ross, who's a photographer in Pennsylvania, and he kind of got a feel for what the actual light painting is, which is basically the addition of making individual exposures of a certain part of a subject, whether it's a small still life or an airplane, and then you blend those photographs in post-processing to create a look that really you can't get any other way.
So this one that's behind us, which has gained the attention of some people, is up for a significant award. So tell us a little bit about what's happening tonight and the story behind this image. It's awesome.
Well, this was taken at in Wisconsin at a convention where I taught a short demonstration on light painting. And I think there's about 50 or 55 different separate photographs that create that image. And I entered it this year in the artist category, and it was accepted. And then they just keep moving it up, and so now it's up for a Grand Imaging Award finalist tonight, and it was also selected to be a finalist in the World Cup, which again we'll find out tonight. So you never know.
Yeah. Well, that's super cool, and the subject matter is so interesting, but the way that you're creating these pieces of art. So just for somebody that's watching along that has not met you before and doesn't have an understanding for this, how much time goes into creating an image like this, John?
Well, when you first start out, like everything, it takes a long time, but this particular project, if I were to do it now, would probably take about an hour to create, and probably an hour and a half to 2 in post-production, somewhere in that time. But some of them take longer, some of them take less time. Generally, though, the process itself is, it's entirely visual, and you don't really know what you're going to get until you actually start putting it together, which that's the part of it that I find fascinating, and at the same time, kind of a throwback to the film days when you took a picture and you crossed your fingers and you hope that something was going to happen.
He waited for the courier to bring the stuff back so you could actually see what you did. So let's talk about your education platform, because you've been teaching and educating in photography for a long time. You've come to the lab before, and you've brought students with and taken the tour to see the process for the metal prints. Are you teaching anywhere this year? How do people find you online to learn more about your light painting?
Well, I do have 2 educational venues. One is I do live workshops in my hometown of Stevens Point, Wisconsin. And we have a really great selection of subjects to photograph at any given time. And it's a very nice group for a small number of students. And for those that don't want to travel, we do have an online tutorial series of about 25 separate photographs that show the entire process of light painting from start to finish. And my URL is just johnhartmanlightpainting.com, and you can go into various topics if you want to take a look at it. So
cool. Well, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us today. Good luck tonight. We'll be anxious to hear what happens.
Great. Thanks a lot, Matt.
Thanks, John. And we'll be back with you shortly.